for you to be there to greet your customers online.
So we can safely say that the benefits of utilizing the social media to promote your products are tremendous.
Tremendous indeed.
Tremendous.
It gives you a punching power far above your weight, to use a boxing analogy.
Quite true. And maybe far above maybe your competitors too, because sometimes not all of us want to adopt new ideas, new technology,
It has shown to be a differentiating factor in the rest of the Caribbean, I know.
It gives you
I
the
can't-
cutting edge.
Yeah, I can't think of a particular example in Guyana, but I'm sure there is one, and I'm sure there will be.
Definitely.
Where, as you said, where a company or an individual or an entrepreneur gains an advantage over the rest of the pack through the use of social media.
Quite true. Apart from the internet and social media, what else can people, latch on to that can really be of benefit to entrepreneurs?
Well, making use of the internet, making use of, an example, cloud computing.
Okay, what is that? What is cloud computing?
Well, cloud computing is, if you can think of it, instead of putting, for instance, your website
Right.
on one computer, what if you put it on a network of computers that all work together to serve your website,
Okay.
therefore allowing you to do a number of things. As an example, you'd be more reliable if one server goes down, another server can pick up a second later, and your viewers don't know the difference. But secondly, with your information, not just your website can go online now, but you can even put your documents online. And that allows you immediately to operate from any location. And with many people using phones, getting not a DSL, but getting an internet connection from any of the two phone companies and accessing the internet on their phones, it does mean actually that there's great use for them to be able to access documents, information, and the like, their own information, wherever they are.
Okay.
So cloud computing affords that set of factors where there's high redundancy, there's great availability for your, not just the information that you're putting out for the public, but information that you want to store in a way that's always available to you no matter where you are.
Is it popular in Guyana?
I don't know if it's very popular in Guyana as yet. It's certainly growing worldwide because the benefits of reliability and redundancy, where you can store your information and be very sure that even if there's a catastrophic failure on a piece of equipment, that you wouldn't even know that has happened. That's becoming very attractive to many businesses.
But even if I'm a small entrepreneur, would that be a benefit to me? And what additional costs would that bear?
That does have a cost because you're paying for quite impressive infrastructure and you're paying for people to maintain that quite impressive infrastructure. However, with the competition that we're seeing from the major players are Google, Amazon, Microsoft in this field, but they're not the only ones, and they're not the only big ones either. There's a large pack right on their heels who are also getting bigger and offering lots of competitive services, a lot of competitive prices for their services. So I think you'll see the pricing for that sort of thing come down. At first, it might be only attractive to the slightly larger companies.
Right, quite
but
true.
by larger, I mean maybe as large as 5 or 10.
Okay.
We're not necessarily thinking the largest company in Ghana. I suppose you would call that a medium-sized company.
Right.
It's probably the value is probably going to be most immediately obvious to those. But even for the small company, even for the one man, the one woman entrepreneur, if there's any value in having your information properly arranged, easily available to you all the time, then definitely cloud computing is something you should be thinking about. And you may be surprised as to what that price could be. It's not in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's probably in the tens of thousands of dollars at the moment. And by tens of thousands, I don't mean multiple tens. I mean around the range of, let's say $10,000. So compared to other services that you may buy, let's say such as a home internet connection, it's quite comparable to what you pay.
Okay. You're watching Grow at IPED, and here I'm chatting with Mr. Datadin, and we're talking about the importance of the internet and social media to you, the small and micro entrepreneurs out there. Maybe it's a new thing. Maybe you've never heard of it. Well, that is why we're bringing it to you in your space, in your living rooms, in your businesses, in your offices, where you are. We're telling you that social media and, as Mr. Dattadin said, cloud computing is the way to go. And indeed, it's the way to go, Mr. Dattadin.
Very, very much so. The internet just overall has proved itself already to customers, to the people, to the public, for being able to take their message far and wide. And it's definitely proved itself to businesses for them to be able to reach their customers in new and more efficient ways. Because that's one thing, again, when you compare the cost versus the reach, that anyone would agree that that's the one thing it affords you, small entrepreneur or not. It's the most efficient way of reaching your customers in terms of, as we say, bang for buck.
Right. And, Mr. Datton, I want to thank you very much for taking time off to be on my program this week of Grow with IPED. But any closing words from you with regards to the internet, Red Spider, social networking?
Well, I guess the only thing I can think of is that even in a small country like ours, when we utilize the internet, I think we can punch right up there with the big boys, as they say, with the heavyweights, because our reach is unfettered.
Quite true.
So for IPED, which, as you know, and as I know, because you're my customer, you've ventured into putting a lot of your services on the cloud, and I think you're beginning to see the value of that, where your offices in Berbice and your offices in Essequibo, or your officers in Berbice and your officers in Essequibo, Linden and Lethem, can work with your officers in Georgetown as if they're in the same room.
Imagine Linden and you mentioned Lethem too.
Yes.
Imagine how far we've gone.
Right, where your documents
That's
and
amazing.
everything else are available to everyone, no matter where they are. So I think if, for instance, your customers are going to see an improved level of service, an improved level of efficiency over what you've already achieved at IPED. So I think if just to use yourself as an example of use of social media, where as an example, videos of this program are available, are archived on the internet for anyone to see. The use of cloud computing for sharing your documents and collaborating amongst your staff all around Guyana. I think we will see more of that, and I think more businesses, large and small, are going to realize that that's the benefit, that in many ways your operations, as far as when you're using these things, have become, shall I say, as modern as anyone else in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay. Of course, there are more, but if you see what I mean, I think you've reached very far and very high, and your customers and your consumers are going to be the ones to benefit from that.
Quite true. You know what I like in all this is that at the end of it, the person to benefit are the customers.
Yes.
The real customers who you really should treat as king. You know what IPED we say that your customers should be treated like a king. And here you are. The customers will be benefiting from all of this.
Yeah, they definitely will. So it's for businesses, I would say, if small entrepreneurs, one woman, one man entrepreneurs to the largest business, I would say, go to it. Go to the internet, go to the social media, use it. Go towards cloud computing. It'll make your IT operations, as an example, cheaper and more efficient and more reliable at the same time. So I know it sounds perhaps too good to be true, but there's ample proof now that is so. So you're not trying something for the first time. You're not the guinea pig in it all.
Quite true. And even at IPED, we're getting rid of diaries.
Yes, I noticed
By
that
use of the Google Calendar.
I noticed management doing that very striking thing. I hadn't anticipated that you would when we put in the system for you.
Imagine.
And I think it just shows the commitment.
There'll be no place for diaries.
And indeed you have. So I think that kind of approach where management really commits to the idea, really supports us, the people implementing the idea for you, gets the staff on board. The bit of training, as an example that you've done recently with us, making sure everybody's on the same page, giving the staff the confidence to use the tools. I think that approach is going to pay dividends, to my mind, more than just customer service, because now you have a more capable, confident staff pool facing your customers.
Quite true.
And I think, talking about the wisdom of the crowd, I think you're going to perhaps see one of the bright sparks in your organization come up with a new way and a better way of dealing with your customers with these new tools.
Yeah, and that's very good. It's all with the aim of benefiting the customers, improving our customer service. And that is what we've been talking on these programs week after week, that your customers are the most important persons to your business. Always remember that. So each and every day as you go about your businesses, in your workshop, in your fields, in your factories, wherever you are, always focus on how can I improve my customer relations? How can I be of better service to my customers out there? Mr. Datterlin, thank you very much for being on my program.
My pleasure.
And remember, Mr. Datterlin, he is the owner of Red Spider, and Red Spider is on Hatfield Street. And if you go to the telephone directory, you can also get the number of Red Spider there.
Or
if you want to
contact us via the internet, redspider.biz.
Right, redspider.biz. Thank you very much, Mr. Datterlin.
My pleasure.
Before I go, I just want to remind all of you out there who are clients of IPED that we want to remind you that it is very important for you to ensure that you honor your financial obligations. And that is a very important aspect of good financial and entrepreneurship management. So we're encouraging you to ensure that you make your loan payments on time. Remember, it's very, very important. And you can do so at any Bill Express locations spread across the country, or the nearest post office. Post offices are all over Guyana. In every district of the country, we have a post office. So you can go into any one, the nearest to you, and make that payment. Or why not use the GT&T Mobile Money Guyana, and you can make your loan payments as well. Or if you're happening to drop by or to pass by an IPED office, we want to encourage you to do so and make that loan payment. It's very important. And remember also, those of you who are entrepreneurs and you want to enhance your skills, you want to elevate yourselves in your businesses, we have training programs, we have courses from ICM, that's the Institute for Commercial Management, out of the United Kingdom, and you can contact us at the Entrepreneurial Development Center, and we'll be very, very happy to get you on board those training programs. For the young ones out there, you're between the ages of 18 and 35, please remember, we have the services of the Guyana Youth Business Trust, and we are willing to train you and to start you with a loan of $800,000 to get going and keep growing. It's on that note, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank the NCN crew members for yet again doing an excellent job, and I want to wish you all the best and a very, very productive week ahead. Get going, keep growing with IPED.